Trump, Harris, rate cuts, and rate hikes are all fine. But what a bull market really needs is money, and that money is coming from Brazil. Hello, this is Bichelin. Do you know what this is? It's the YouTube analytics for the last video I posted. It means the view count ranks 8th out of my last 10 videos. I always put the same effort and love into making fun content, but the recent video is underperforming. Why do you think that is? Recently, Bitcoin has been moving like crazy. Thanks to that, altcoins are practically dead. In this exhausting market, I believe many people's investment sentiment has taken a hit. If I were in their shoes, I wouldn't even want to look at YouTube. Anyway, let's cut to the chase. I'm posting a video after a week, and I've prepared some valuable content worth the wait. Let's dive right in. So, I took a quick look around YouTube over the past week, and honestly, the content out there is pretty much the same. That's right, it's all just similar stories. I can't waste your time by giving you the same old content, so I thought hard about what I should cover. That's how I came up with today's topic. It's likely something you've never heard of before, so it might seem unfamiliar. But the content in today's video is extremely important, so make sure you don't miss it. Watch it 2 or 3 times if you need to. Alright everyone, at this very moment as you're watching this video, what is the thing you desire the most? I bet many of you are thinking, a major bull run for Bitcoin and altcoins. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? I think that's why you're subscribed to my channel and others, wondering when the big rally will come or if it will come at all. After doing some research on YouTube, I found that most channels are talking about things like, the bull market will come before the election, or it'll happen after the election, or it will come when interest rates are lowered. A few niche channels are talking about liquidity and other such topics, but they're all missing the most crucial point for a bull market, and no one is mentioning it. What's the most essential thing for a bull market to happen? Sure, the US election and the bank's liquidity injections are all important factors. Those broad discussions are great, but the truth is, the most important thing is having buyers to absorb the volume from the big players. What we commonly refer to as accumulation is crucial. When these accumulated positions are offloaded, there need to be people consistently buying them up for the bull market to truly take off. I think that's the most important factor for a bull market to happen. In other words, if there are buyers willing to purchase without hesitation, it doesn't matter whether the US president is Trump, Harris, or whoever, or how the stock market performs. The crypto market could still see an explosive bull run. So while the US president, economy, and interest rates are important, what we need most is someone with the capital to passionately dive into the crypto market. And I'm sure you're eager to find and track those big players faster than anyone else, right? To figure out when, how, and around whom the next major bull run will start, we need to fully understand the past of the cryptocurrency market. Looking back at the history of the previous market, the major bull run of 2017 to 2018 had 3 main players: the US, Japan, and South Korea. The US has always been a constant presence, of course. Japan, known for quickly adapting to new trends, was also heavily involved in the early Bitcoin market. At the time, Japan's cryptocurrency market, centered around the now infamous Mt. Gox exchange, was the largest in the world. What's particularly interesting is the intense interest from a relatively small country like South Korea. The kimchi premium is clear evidence of this. What is the kimchi premium? It refers to the phenomenon where cryptocurrency prices on South Korean exchanges trade significantly higher than the global average price. A cryptocurrency media outlet called CoinSpeaker once published an article about the kimchi premium that occurred in South Korea. The kimchi premium first appeared in 2016. By the end of 2017, it soared to an average of 30%, and by January 2018, it had reached nearly 55%. This was around the time when Bitcoin was featured on the TV show I Want to Know, and people would joke, "Did you buy Bitcoin?" when a friend treated them to a meal. Bitcoin Cash rose 21 times in just 1 month, and Ripple skyrocketed 36 times, leaving everyone in awe. When Bitcoin's global market price was around $15,000, the price on South Korean exchanges exceeded $22,000. Truly a frenzy. There was no US election and no major issue with the Nasdaq, but the market heated up due to the excessive interest shown by a few countries. The reason this was possible is likely because, as I mentioned earlier, there were people ready to absorb the large positions from big players. Now, shall we take a look at the post-pandemic bull market? After the global stock markets plummeted due to the fear of the pandemic, countries around the world started printing money to stimulate their economies. As a result, we saw an insane bull run across stocks, crypto, real estate, and more. At that time, it was hard to find a coin that didn't rise by at least 10 times. On Upbit, ADA surged by 174 times, and theta fuel skyrocketed by an unbelievable 670 times. At that time, the main player driving the crypto market to its peak was South Korea. As mentioned in the analysis article on the kimchi premium by CoinSpeaker, the strict regulations in South Korea meant there were very few high-return investment options. With the government's strict pandemic controls leading to the bankruptcy of many small business owners, the domestic economy weakened further. This was compounded by rising minimum wages and sharp inflation, making it hard for everyday people to breathe. In the midst of this, Bitcoin emerged as an investment vehicle. Seeing assets rise by tens or even hundreds of times on a regular basis, it became a beacon of hope for the average person in South Korea, fueling the Bitcoin frenzy. We can tell how strong South Korea's participation in the cryptocurrency market was during this time through various data points. One indicator of how heated South Korea's involvement was at the time is the fact that the kimchi premium skyrocketed again, reaching absurd levels. Additionally, Upbit, which is now a familiar exchange to us, was closely chasing Binance, the world's largest exchange, and became the second largest exchange globally. If we look at the trading volume across different continents at the peak of the 2021 bull market, Europe, centered around exchanges like Kraken and Bitstamp, had a volume of 200 billion USD. The Americas, led by Coinbase, had a volume of 374 billion US dollars, 493 trillion Korean won. The trading volume in the Asian region during the same period was 4,488 billion Korean won, which is approximately 3.36 trillion US dollars, recording 10 times the trading volume of the largest in the Americas. Even Luna, which threw the entire world into a panic, had a close connection with South Korea, helping to gather funds and grow rapidly in its early stages. If we remember the times when coins with even a slight connection to South Korea were getting attention and soaring high, it becomes clear that for a major bull run in the cryptocurrency market, there always needs to be a leading country driving the trend forward. And there has always been such a country at the forefront of the frenzy. Just like South Korea in the last bull market, we desperately need a country where the entire population is excited and ready to hit the buy button. And there is such a country. China? The US? Russia? No! It's Brazil. If you're someone who closely follows cryptocurrency news, you might have noticed this as well. Haven't you felt that there's been a sudden increase in issues related to Brazil lately? When we think of major powers, we usually think of familiar names like the US, China, Japan, and Europe. So Brazil might seem a bit unexpected. Of course, when it comes to the crypto market, there are well-known countries like El Salvador, but Brazil has been gaining more attention recently. For instance, Brazil was the first country in the world to launch a Solana ETF, and BlackRock is also offering an Ethereum ETF in Brazil. It seems that global institutions are increasingly interested in the Brazilian market. Maybe they've caught the scent of an upcoming bull market, don't you think? Brazil's current economic structure makes it highly attractive for a bull market. As I researched this, I found it quite fascinating and surprising myself. The following table shows Brazil's current account balance in US dollars. A negative current account balance generally occurs when a country's imports exceed its exports in terms of the import-export ratio. Since 2021, Brazil has continuously recorded a current account deficit, with exports unable to keep up with imports. Now take a look at this graph. It shows the percentage breakdown of Brazil's exports from last year. Agriculture accounts for 45%, and mining makes up 20%. In total, 65% of the country's economy relies on mining and agriculture. Due to the agricultural focus of Brazil's economy, efforts to convert parts of the Amazon rainforest into farmland have led to significant deforestation. As a result of industrialization, Brazil's climate has changed dramatically. Recently, major cities like Rio de Janeiro are facing rising sea levels, the northeastern region is experiencing droughts, and São Paulo has been hit by massive floods. These natural disasters are devastating for a country so heavily reliant on agriculture. Additionally, since energy and mining are finite industries, Brazil is now at a point where it must prepare for the next 100 years. But when you think of Brazil, what comes to mind? Samba soccer, the Amazon's anacondas, maybe alligators? That's about it, right? Aside from agriculture and mining, Brazil doesn't have any particularly developed industries. It might be a bit too late for Brazil to rapidly grow its manufacturing sector and create the world's top automobile or fashion brands. That's why Brazil, under government leadership, is focusing heavily on the IT and fintech industries. It's a well-known fact, and one that no one in the world would deny, that IT and fintech are closely tied to the Bitcoin and blockchain industries. With Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway investing in Nubank, Brazil is aiming to lead innovation in digital payments and mobile financial services. Meanwhile, BNDES, the Brazilian Development Bank, is spearheading funding and infrastructure development, supporting the startup ecosystem. They are also accelerating the growth of the 5G network and IoT industries. It almost feels like the answer is already clear, doesn't it? Everything seems to be falling into place. Digital payments, support for the startup ecosystem, 5G network development. From 2017 onward, South Korea was swept up in a heated bull market. Digital payments, support for the startup ecosystem, 5G network, and IoT. Doesn't Brazil's current situation feel strikingly similar to what we saw in South Korea not too long ago? With everyday life becoming harder for the general public and protests calling for the impeachment of the current president, a thrilling investment market would likely seem like an appealing and sweet escape for the people. I can already see what the haters are going to say after hearing this. You're exaggerating too much. That's a stretch. How can you compare Brazil to South Korea? I knew you'd say that, so I came prepared. Now, for the next minute, take a look at this video showing the trend of the keyword Bitcoin in internet search volumes over the past 10 years, from 2015 to the present. Here's your text translated into natural English with clear spacing between the sentences. Do the haters still think I'm exaggerating? With agriculture being the backbone of Brazil's economy, soybeans make up the largest portion of its agricultural exports, with over 70% of the production going to China. Brazil and China have an inseparable relationship. If China were to stop importing soybeans, it would put Brazil's economy in a critical situation. However, recently, China has been making government-wide efforts to reduce its dependence on imports by producing soybeans domestically. This puts Brazil in a position where it must find a new way to survive. Enter the US, offering a helping hand. Brazil, the leading nation in BRICS, is aiming to break away from US dominance and make a strong voice in the global economy and politics. Brazil has been economically dependent on China, a fellow BRICS nation, but now finds itself in a situation where China seems ready to betray that trust by reducing imports. Meanwhile, the US is actively supporting Brazil in developing its IT infrastructure. Brazil holds the third largest graphite reserves in the world, a critical resource for electric vehicle production. It's also rich in nickel, phosphates, rare earth elements, essential minerals for the future of semiconductor technology. However, due to pressure from European countries focused on preserving the environment, Brazil is unable to fully utilize these resources, making them seem out of reach. Once merely a consumer, Brazil now finds itself as a vital natural resource hub for the US, which, with companies like Nvidia, Tesla, and Apple leading the charge, is eyeing the next century's throne as the new global manufacturing powerhouse. In this mutual push-and-pull dynamic between Brazil and the US, a new blockchain superpower is beginning to bloom. I believe that the movements of Brazil's grassroots economy are likely to be closely tied to the next bull market. You don't have to believe me, but when the Brazil-led bull market begins, maybe then you'll hit that subscribe button. I'll be providing regular updates on Brazil-related issues and economic briefings via live streams for subscribers and on Telegram. You can check out the link to the Telegram in the comment. Let me summarize. For a major bull run in crypto to occur, while US interest rates and election movements are important, there's something even more crucial. What's needed is a group of enthusiastic retail investors willing to absorb the big players' positions at high prices. Looking at data such as South Korea's kimchi premium and the trading volumes of different continents, bull markets tend to be driven by specific countries. The leading candidate for the next bull run is Brazil. The country is shifting from an agriculture-based economy to an IT-focused one, and from reliance on China to reliance on the US. In this transition, the pent-up frustration of Brazil's long-suffering citizens could very likely turn into a strong buying force. Right now, Brazil looks very similar to South Korea in 2017. Even if I make mistakes, I always speak the truth. This was Bichelin, the YouTuber where just watching and listening helps you learn. Have a great weekend. Thank you.